10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
True love is a strong and lasting affection between spouses or lovers who are in a happy, passionate, and fulfilling relationship, irrespective of whatever challenges their marriage may be confronted with. According to Dr. Lisa Firestone, co author of Sex and Love in Intimate Relationships, often we spend our time worrying about what a partner feels towards us or how the relationship looks from the outside. Even though it feels good to be loved by someone else, each one of us can only really feel our loving feelings for another person and not that person's feelings for us. In order to connect with and sustain those loving feelings within us, we have to take actions that are loving. Otherwise, we may be living in fantasy. To the pessimist, true love does not exist. To the optimist, true love abounds. It only requires conscious effort in building longing and more stable relationships. Today's episode of your program is a very special episode. We shall be delving into one of the very controversial topics, true love. I will be back shortly. Don't go away. Welcome back and happy Valentine's Day, viewers. So, with me to discuss true love on set today, I have four wonderful people, and I'm going to leave them to introduce themselves. So, from my far right, can we meet you, please?
My name is Yemi Bolarinwa.
Okay, you're welcome on set. And
Ruth Opeyemi.
okay, all right, you're welcome on set. And
My name is Temitope Oyekunle.
thank you very much.
I'm Bunmi Aregbesola.
Thank you very much. So, like I told you earlier, the topic of discuss today is true love. And I'm going to ask Yemi, how long have you been married and how did you meet your spouse?
Thank you very much. So we met about 7-8 years ago, but we married for about 7 years. It's going to be 7 years this year in July. Yeah.
So, is that the truth?
We actually met 9 years ago.
See?
Ladies
So, what
and
happened?
Yeah, he's not good with maths. Well, he's good with maths, but in terms of remembering timelines, he's not good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And how have you been coping with that, not being able to remember certain dates or times?
oh well, no trace.
All right. Thank you very much. And Tope, how long have you been married?
It's over 13 years now. It'll be 14 years, October 4, 2022.
Oh, wow. That's great. And Romy?
We've been married for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great. So this next question, I'm going to start with Bumi. Aside the physical attraction, can you share with us some of the attributes that drew your attention to your wife?
Thank you very much for that question. I'll try to be brief and straightforward about it. I actually met my wife in the church. She was one of the praise team members in the church in Lagos. It was actually our dressing.
Oh, wow.
I'll be sincere with you. I'm very finicky and particular about analyzing people even on the first appearance. So our dressing spoke a lot to me. She showed that she was very independent. She's certain. She's very assertive and very likable. So those qualities, including the physical attraction, drew me closer to her. And on meeting and engaging with her, I found that I was right with those assumptions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So you went to church.
Yes.
Oh, okay, you're a member of that church.
Yeah.
So going to church, you just saw this babe, like, see dressing. Was that what happened?
No.
Okay.
That wasn't what happened. Okay. The church in particular, I was drawn to that church because of the music.
Okay.
Every Sunday we used to go to, one of the churches down, we drive through, but the music from that church, the acoustic, the choir, drew me into the church.
Okay.
So I love music. I love quality worship. It's everything to me. And getting to the church is about the 2,000 plus capacity, church. And right there in the choir, there's this dressing they have. Conservative dressing has to be certain length, of skirts and all. But I saw this lady stood out in I think in the alto section. She had a special cut, different from every other person in the crowd.
Wow.
So that uniqueness was very strong. For her to be allowed to still minister at that level in her uniqueness shows, she's God-fearing, shows she has those virtues expected in the church, and at the same time, she's bold. She knows what she wants. That's a go-getter, and I know it's someone I could go the length of time with. So, just to be brief.
Okay, thank you for sharing that experience with us. We will still come back.
Okay.
So, talk about how did you meet your husband?
Okay, so I met my husband during NYC in Nigeria. I think it was a batch A, so they had done the camp stuff. They were in the place of primary assignment. I was a batch B. So when we finished in the camp, I was going to the place of primary assignments. That's where I met my husband. So I think the first time I came in there, I met his friend. And his friend, I asked him some questions and went back home. And I think his friend had told him, I met a girl, you're going to like her. She's, exactly your spec, that kind of thing. And I didn't know about that. He got to tell me later. So okay. I'd gone back home. And the next time I came, I met this man, this young guy, and very young guy. And he kept looking at me. And I was telling my friends, please, why is this guy looking at me? I don't even know him. And they were like,
was he looking or staring?
Staring into my soul. Yes. Like, why is this guy looking at me constantly? So eventually he came up and he said, I like you. And I'm like, okay. At that time, people would be like, you cannot be dating someone that you are in NYC, you are dating someone that is also serving. You needed to up. So I wasn't really looking at him, but he was so persistent. If I look behind me, he's there. Wow. By my side, he's there. Wow. Always calling me, very caring. And I found out that we could communicate, and that was where the love just sparked. Wow. And from the first day that we met and talked till today, there has never been a day that we wouldn't talk on phone, because even then, every day, constantly, my parents would be like, who is this person calling you? And constantly has been on my case. The love has been so much from day one, and I thank God because,
he has been on your case since then.
Since day one.
And that's wonderful.
And it's still till today constant. So yeah, that's how I met him.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that experience. So we are now back to Mr. and Mrs. Bolarinwa. Can we have Ope share how you guys meet?
Okay, so we met on our way to school. We were both going to the University of Middlesex University, but for some reason we chose the Mauritius campus. Okay. So we boarded on the same plane. We didn't see each other. We got to Joburg where we had some layover. I had been to Joburg, so I knew where to stand and sit. But I saw this lady just standing on the queue. Something told me she's not even supposed to be on that queue. I didn't say anything. We got to Mauritius. The school sent a driver to pick us. And then Yasmin is the guy's name. So Yashin. Timeline again. So Yashin said, we're three, I was standing close to the next guy, so that we're waiting for a lady. I said, I know her. So I went straight to her, took her back, called out her name. She was there. She was shocked, like, I'm in the foreign land. Who knows me here? And we connected, became friends, and that was it.
Unknown to her that someone had been on her case, right from...
No, well, I wasn't on her case.
Okay. Because...
I wasn't on her case.
Okay.
You know? Like, in fact, we were in school for over 1 year. We didn't date until the last 2 months before we left school. You know, we were just friends from day one.
Okay, because I was about saying that, of course, you can't just jump to dates. Of course, you would have been friends. And
she was dating somebody then.
Oh.
So we're just friends. Like, we went to school together. We met on day one. We, you know, they picked us together. You know, that was the base of our friendship.
And
then.
that was it. Okay. Ruth?
You didn't finish the story.
Aha, so I know you're going to have something to add to it.
I was in a 4-year relationship, you know, and the guy I was dating had even given me a promise ring before I left Nigeria. But so when I met him, just as I said, so but from that airport till we got to the school, we just connected, and it wasn't love at first sight. It was just when we met, it was friendship. So we're very close, you know. And then when we got to school, people in school thought that we had been together from Nigeria. They didn't believe that we had just met a few hours ago. And then as time went on, I realized that I was liking him, but I also had a relationship. So it started affecting my relationship. And my friends, mutual friends, they noticed that we had mutual friends that I kind of like confided to that I liked him. And then, you know, so by the time, but at some point, he was, if he sees a girl that I liked, he'll come and tell me, oh, I like this girl. And I'll tell him, oh, okay, this one is good, this one is not good. So, anyways, he was now seeing one girl in school, but I realized that I was always very jealous when I saw them together. And we were staying in a 7-room duplex, so there were other students. So our rooms were close to each other. So we would cook. I would cook. I love cooking, so I would cook all the food I brought from Nigeria. I would cook everything. We'll eat together. So, anyways, as time went on, my friend told him that this girl liked you. He said, no, this girl cannot like me. Anyways, long story short, he didn't started liking me. I now moved out of the house. Long story. So with time, we now realized that, you know, we liked each other. So I called off the relationship with the other guy, and then we decided, okay, we're going to date. And after we left school, we started dating like 2 months before we left school. And then we went back to Nigeria, and, you know, the rest is history.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us. So, to you, Ruth, you mentioned something that I'm going to quickly ask you. Some people say that true love does exist. What are your thoughts?
I believe it does exist, you know, because when you meet someone, like when I met him, when I started falling in love with him, you know, I still feel, in fact, I love him more than I loved him when we got married. Because every day I love him more, even though the longer we're married, the more I see all his vulnerability. I see all the easier. I see everything. You know, I've seen him totally. He cannot do yanga for me. He can't, because I've seen him. But the more I see him, the more I love him. So it does exist. I don't think I'm gonna. Since when I met him, I've not seen anybody, and my head has not swayed. So for sure it exists, because this is our story.
And is that the same experience with you, Yemi?
Oh, even more.
Of course,
you know.
Not
You know, because what struck me about her day 2 was that she was bold. Now, I've been a music director since I was very young. You know, in my choir then we combined everybody close to 120. And then on day 2 when we met, you know, I went to school with, you know, when you're going to school from Nigeria, even normal body now, so you buy a lot. You know, I went with my best perfume. And on day 2, she told me that, Oga, you're smelling, you have a funny smell.
I can't relate to that.
You know, when she said so, I was
funny
like,
smell, negative, positive?
Negative.
Ooh.
I can't relate to that.
So when she said that, I was like, okay, but I'm using, like, I have my colognes, I have everything.
He was using Paco Rabanne. So he said expensive,
you know,
cologne.
So she said, it's not something serious. You're just not using a roll-on, you know. And that was it. It's like roll-on. Wow. So I think she bought roll-on for me the next day. We were still friends. And then even after I applied the roll-on, I felt better with myself. Like, okay. You know, meanwhile, in my church then, we had convention every year. People will come from abroad, and and one of the comments they will make is that everybody just smelling in Nigeria. Everybody just smelling. They will just say generally. And you start wondering, I'm not sure, I'm not the one smelling. But after I came back from school, I realized, many of my friends were not using roll-on, even though they were using good peps. But I got to know that, just from her. So I took note of that boldness, like, okay, but she was in a relationship, so I wasn't even looking there, so. But yes, talking about true love, I believe it exists, because my opinion of love, marriage is, even normal relationship between friends, is communication is always the hallmark. The more you can talk, keeping that line open, the more you'll be close. If that stops today, no matter how deep your love is, just starts to go down. So for me, once that communication is there, it keeps everything going.
I think Bunmi wants to say something the other time.
Thank you. Yes, I can relate to the boldness part that, Opeyemi alluded to. I'd seen my wife in 2002 on the altar in church, and before the grace, before I could make the move to even try to get close to even find out who she is, she's out. I told her the church is like 2,000 plus in attendance capacity every Sunday. So that happened for like 2-3 years. So what do I do? True love really exists. At that first sight, I had known that that's who I was going to marry.
So what strategy?
So the strategies we are not driving at. 3-year strategy finally worked.
Wow.
I had to get to be friends with a friend of ours in the choir. It was through our founder that she was still in the University of Ibadan as of then. I was in University of Ilorin rounding up. And after church, she's out to get home to prepare a meal for the nieces. So I knew there was something has to do with the home front, reason why she doesn't stay back to hang out. And those are some of the virtues in marriage that I see. And finally, I was the organizing secretary. We had a meeting, invited the pastor's wife to engage the youth. And I finally, through the friend, got to meet her. And the first move I made, my wife till date is still the only
Let me quickly ask you a question. That organizing circuit, was it strategic?
It wasn't per se, but the church had a lot of unmarried singles. Singles or married.
So how did you become the secretary? Where
is the lost
your wife
is the lost doing and his my brother saying
that never be ashamed though.
I needed to I was just out of a 4-year relationship like herself too that I thought was gonna work, but she went to serve and the rest is history. So I wasn't surprised. So at that time I was already hunting. I knew it was time to settle down because I knew my flaws. I have a lot of female friends. I need to say that. So I'm not surprised that I'm still in the midst of female till date. Yeah. So finally I got to her, just to cut the short, and she's the only lady to date that has been bold enough to tell me off. She actually washed me down.
From head to toe.
From head to toe.
Yes.
And I can vividly remember that night. And that was when I sat back and the reality dawned on me. Okay, I thought I understood the female species, generation and all, but the reality that I can't. So that humbled me. I had to re-strategize to go back. So that boldness that I saw from her dressing, I now felt it. And before that date, I've heard so much about her. Guys have called her that she dropped the phone to the radio to be speaking when they were discussing. Guys will tell you don't go there because she was just church, home, no time for that relationship. So that's why I said I understand what that boldness is. So she's the only lady, and that's changed my orientation. It made me a better person, and I understood that there's always one person out there for each person. So she's the only one to date.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, Temitope, I'm going to ask you this question. So, love at first sight is a very commonly used word, most especially among intending couples. So, what are your thoughts? And do you believe that there is something like, or anything like love at first sight?
I would say that to love somebody, you have to know them. I would say no to love at first sight. I believe you need to know this person. It's possible I see somebody and I'm like, wow, this person looks good, or I like, maybe that's my spec, because I have my spec. Maybe that's my spec, and like I like this person. But I get to know that person, and I find out that the person is really not, the kind of person that I would want to have anything to do with. So I believe that even though you could be physically attracted to somebody, wow, this person is, good. This person is, like for guys, they would say this person is shapely, exactly what I want. But it's possible you get close to that person and you don't like that person. So I still believe that to love somebody, you need to know that person. You need to communicate, find out if that person respects you, and all before you can say that you actually love that person.
Ruth, what's your opinion?
Love at first sight?
Yes.
Well, I would say it depends on the individual. Some people, there are people that are married today and they will tell you, they can swear with their life that it was love at first sight for them. So I think it just depends on the individuals and it's just based on the individuals and what they think because of their own personal experiences.
Are you saying that, they saw each other and liked each other and that was it? Like they saw they liked the physical, whatever they were seeing, and that was it?
This is not my experience. I'm telling you this is what people have said. So if they say that if that is their story, that is what they believe in.
Yeah.
There's really nothing I can do to start arguing about what they feel or what they felt when they met their spouses.
Go on.
I can say that they saw each other and liked what they saw, but they still got to know each other. I still say that before you can love somebody, you have to know that person. It's just it's not Romeo and Juliet. Oh, this.
Well, it's a personal conviction at the end of the day.
If I may come in here, we're talking in a Christian setting now.
Are we okay?
Christ didn't love us. He didn't know us before he loved us.
That's Christ now. We are not Christ.
We are Christ-like. we are made in His image.
So I think, in my opinion, it's more on the guys.
Okay.
How?
We are moved by what we see.
See, I know that my husband, funny enough, my husband saw he said, because somebody had told me, and I was going, and he saw my back view, and he was like, I like this girl, he had not even seen my face, and he still saw me and liked me, but we still had to get to know each other. We still went through, talking for hours.
So I think for ladies, that's when your own process starts.
Okay.
For guys, I see you, I check you out, dopamine is released in my brain. I feel feel those butterflies. Something tells me, something gives me the boldness to even say, babe, can we have a coffee, or can we, something must, even in the Bible, Samuel almost anointed the wrong person for appearance.
Yes,
definitely.
So in my opinion, again, I think for guys, it differs from the way, the ladies
process.
Process their own stuff. So.
Yeah.
But you still got to know that person, because how many people have you looked at? I'm sorry, but I'm sure it's not Ruth is not the only person that you have seen and like, wow, she's fine. There are so many fine ladies around, but you got to love her because you got to know her.
Well, probably I can say, like Ruth
subjective,
said, it depends. Well, it's my opinion anyway. I think it depends on each individual. Yeah. Because I've actually heard stories also bothering around. I saw him and I just fell in love. I saw
your wife. Remember, I was about saying that.
Yeah, because I think
I saw 2002. We didn't start dating on 2005 until I knew I was going to marry her.
From 2002 to 2005.
I knew I was going to marry her.
So question.
And I've seen so many ladies then before then.
Yeah. She was always living after church.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why was he persistent to say?
Because he liked what he saw.
Exactly.
What if after you got to talk to her, you found that she was nasty, she was dirty, she stinks?
Remember,
are you still going to continue? Are you still going to fall in love?
What I saw,
okay,
I already analyzed it. It's not just the physical appearance. Okay. The dressing itself, at that time, connected with my spirit.
Connected.
In that situation.
Did you know the kind of person she was? Did you know how she was somebody you could interact with?
From the dressing, yes.
I think it
from the dressing.
Okay, I think you were in the spirit because you were in
not
church.
The spirit, no.
But that's not to say that is love.
No,
but that's not to say that is love. However, I'm only saying the process itself.
It's a process.
You could say that it's your.
I knew from that moment.
Okay,
Okay.
So I'm just saying that I'm not trying to be on the other side of this. I'm just trying to analyze this thing really good. So you saw her, you liked her, you were a fine lady. What if when you started to talk to her, you found out that this lady is not, she doesn't have any values, nothing like that, were you still going to be in love with her? Is that how far that love had taken you?
Okay, let me now tell you some of my basic principles. I will never be a friend, a female, if there's no attraction that I can go the way. I don't make friends with females randomly. So there are certain connects that I know. From the dressing alone, I can connect. From the way they are seated, the chemistry, I can tell you. I told you, I went to boarding house, and it's a walk of about 20 years. There are 4 different types of love. You have the erotic, you have the philia, you have the storge,
you have the agape.
The agape. Yeah. There's that feeling, and from the definition, the feelings. You can't explain it. It's a chemistry. So, to some people, just the first day, seeing alone, they know that chemistry is there that they didn't feel in other people. You can't even explain it.
And they've been married for 50 years.
15 years ago, and I was still together.
And they're going strong.
And they're still going strong.
Like in my case now.
Yeah.
My husband was, when we met, he was coming, and I was like, who is this, why? But when I got to know him, because I liked his look. If I didn't like his look, I wouldn't have gone after him. When I got to know him and developed this chemistry is so... In fact, I worked in a bank in Abeokuta. The whole branch knew him. He's an engineer, so I was in Abeokuta. He comes every weekend. Anytime he's coming, engineer is. In fact, they formed the name for us. My husband's name is Shegun. They call us Stop Sheg. Till today, anybody that calls me from Zenith Abeokuta, I say, I will Stop Sheg. Because the chemistry was too much. I said, since the day that Shegun spoke to me till today, there's no single day that we haven't talked on phone. We must talk for hours on phone, see each other. That was, it developed over years, and I always tell everybody, it's my best friend. If you tell me something, don't tell your husband it's a lie. It's my gist. If something happens and I'm thinking of who's my go-to person to gist with, it's my husband. Even my children know and all. But maybe because of my own situation, it was a friendship that developed.
So from your part, from you to him.
So that's, so I'm now
not
thinking,
from him to you. I think from the day he saw you,
there are 2 different sides. You said it, right?
Yes.
There are different ways the sexes process this.
Okay, guys.
You made mention of the fact that can you love somebody that you don't know? There are people who have been in a relationship with someone that has a very nasty attitude,
and they just like it.
But they're like, I still love you, but I just can't be with you because of your attitude. So they still love that person. So some people will tell you, the people are married, and they'll tell you there was a girl that I actually loved, but I left her because of her attitude. That doesn't mean, so the fact that they have a nasty attitude doesn't mean that they're not lovable, that they didn't love them.
Yeah. The love is
Do you understand? The love is still there, but they just don't want to be with them because I'm sure some of those attitudes people have, they're like deal breakers for them, and they're like, you know what, I can't deal with that. So I as much as I love you, I would leave.
Okay, guys, I think this is actually getting heated up, and we need to quickly go on a short break, and we will be right back. Don't go away.
Daffodils Party Blog? They are your #1 party blogger in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Do you have a party coming up? Do you have a business or service to advertise, or do you want to give a shout out to a friend or family that is celebrating? Then look no further. Daffodils Party Blog is your main blog. You can send them a DM on Instagram at Daffodils Party Blog or call 431-990-1153. Daffodils Party Blog, always at your service.
Hello there, I am Bunmi Aregbesola of Maximum Realty, your favorite real estate agent. With almost 15 years as a real estate professional, starting from United Kingdom and in Canada to being a licensed realtor here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, I am passionate in helping people make the right decision when it's time for them to purchase their dream homes and in selling their properties. I walk with you every step of the way, throughout all the process, to ensure that you do not fail. The professionalism, personal touch, and genuine empathy that I employ in getting the job done are what set me apart and also help build strong bond with all my clients, which makes them to always come back, as well as refer their friends and families to me. Call me today on 204-997-6117 to schedule an appointment, and I am all yours. Bunmi Aregbesola, your trusted family realtor.
Welcome back from that short break, and we are still on your program, The Platform, and the topic of discuss today is true love. So, Yemi, I'm going to put this question to you. True love is hard to find and even harder to keep. For the sake of our viewers hoping to have a loving and peaceful marriage like yours, what do you consider as signs of true love?
That's a wonderful question. What do I consider as signs of true love? I think it's subjective, but to me, I would say communication, home values. I know this may also sound old school, but I believe in spiritual compatibility.
Very good.
No matter how funky we are now, and So taking a base from my wife and I, after I go back from school, I told her I work under a pastor, and I have to formally let him know the son is bringing somebody home. So we are gonna go to him, just to greet him.
Formal.
But I also told her, I said, I've seen in the past where because of one reason or the other, or church politics and all, you won't want to say anything anymore when people like me, who happens to be a spiritual son, will meet to say, I'm bringing somebody to see you. But I'm going to force him to say whatever he wants to, because he's a prophet. He operates in the office.
Okay.
But also apart from that, he talks a lot about relationships, so that's his core too. So we went to him, and then he prayed a very short prayer, and he started talking. He fell in love with her immediately because then she used to work as an administrator in another church. So they connected on so many levels, questions, At the end, I now asked him, "So how far?" And he said, actually said that you guys have a delay. We're going to pray about it. And then he booked some sessions for us to pray, like 3 Mondays, I think.
Yeah, like 3 months before we got married, every Monday.
Every Monday, and at a point he said, I see it has been rolled away. However, we have to manage it. So we didn't have a baby until like the 5th year.
Okay, let's not go there yet.
Okay.
We're still coming there.
Okay.
So, Tope, I'm going to ask you that same question. What do you consider as signs of true love?
Signs of true love. Okay, I would say that when you notice that that person gives you joy.
How?
Joy.
Okay, like, just saying the person. Okay, you're laughing all over. You're so happy. Like, oh my, is that it?
When I met my husband and we started talking, communicating, I just found that I was always happy with.
Okay, there are butterflies flying in your tummy.
Yeah, my tummy everywhere.
Oh my.
Like if I had not spoken to him in a day, I would want to hear his voice. We're connected on every level. we were very good communicators. We were communicating with each other and we were giving each other joy. There was this vibe, you know. Shegun and Tope we were an item. It was. I was happy because that wasn't my first relationship. I had prior ones, but this was different. It's like when you meet your soulmate, there's this connection, and I felt it.
And you just were happy somehow, somewhere.
Even my parents, I know African parents. Why are you always, why are you shouting and why are you always laughing everywhere? You're always on the phone 24 hours in the day. Are you jobless? But that was just it. Even my mom, if you ask her today, she will tell you at the time that I met Shegun, I was just happy. I always wanted to hear his voice, communicate.
You were just glowing.
I was glowing.
I
was happy. I was happy. Even at my place at my work, everybody knew me then in Abeokuta. It was, you know, engineer called you today as this. It was, I just felt it. And I think everybody can feel it, right?
Mm-hmm. All right.
Just find the right person.
Yeah. So, Bunmi, can we have your
3 years?
Okay.
3 years sojourning.
Serious suffering.
This one was fine, you know. But it was worth the while. I wasn't surprised. You know. I would say there are love languages. There's the affirmation, which has to do with communication, which is everything. We communicate with God, we communicate with spouse and ourselves. That's the triangle. There's the quality time. That's what she talked about, the joy, happiness. You want to be in that presence all the time, irrespective of the time.
Yeah.
I get back home 1 a.m., I drop my bag at home. And what actually helped as well was I didn't know. It was later that I found out that we actually live in the same estate.
Oh, wow.
In Omole Estate, and I never knew.
Wow.
And that was Omole Estate in Ikeja in Lagos then.
Wow.
She was in a different flat, I was in a different flat. She was staying with the other sister who is here too, the lawyer like herself. So that really helped. And I just like icing on the cake. So I just get home, drop my bag 1 a.m. I'm always at the place.
Wow.
You know,
1 a.m.
1 a.m. till 4, we just staying outside.
1 a.m. till 4 a.m.
for him, and I'll get back, just want to shower to go drive out back to work and all.
Wow.
And it was consistent.
Oh, wow.
So that was a quality time. You just find out that time is nothing.
You don't want to just leave that.
Mm-hmm. Then for me, it was the sacrifice.
Yeah.
A lady that can sacrifice that early to you, even without you asking, is everything. Because there'll be the bad time, there'll be the good time in marriage. But those little signs, I recall, we've not even started dating before she was willing to sacrifice and help. And I wasn't surprised too. I told you the background, they were orphans, they grew up independent, comfortable. She won't take any gift. So that's part of giving gift, is part of the commitment. She never did. Not until I was able to compel her to take the first gift from me about 3 years later that I knew she was ready to be married. Without taking the gift, I know she wasn't ready yet because she has to be broken. Yeah. And so sacrifice is key. Communication, find out your own style. Then the quality time, and that's being in one's present, phone call, person. I'm a physical person.
I can even see this sparkles.
I'm a physical person. I love to see because I can analyze. She's looking at me. I can see she's listening to me, understanding where I'm coming from. But on the phone, you won't see that.
That's because you were close. One of me walking in Abeokuta and you walking in another state.
That the farthest distance I've ever been in my life, I risked my life, was to go to Sokoto to see her when she served.
Oh, she served in?
She served in Sokoto.
Wow.
And I didn't fly. I went in the midst of the
long
bus, that journey.
Like almost a day.
Yeah. That was the scariest time of my life, but I did it.
Yeah.
And that was when she knew that
you were
marriage, that it has to be marriage. Yeah, that's when she accepted because the sacrifice.
The sacrifice has to be there.
She flies there, we fly, but I deliberately went and she didn't know I was coming.
That's a good one.
So sacrifice is key.
Thank you.
I mean, in addition, you know, for me, somebody who also knows how to enjoy life. I hate when...
Can you share that? Enjoy life. Can you expatiate?
For me, I think you can't just walk and not have time to
have fun.
That fun part is very
I need to
important.
consult with you then.
And the reason is, then I work in church. Before you know it, you're doing 24 hours in church, and you're not having fun. But when I met her, oh my God, she loves to swim, she loves to cook, she loves to, in school then, she loves to do everything. I'm like, okay, this guy's going to bring out the spark in me too, so, let's do this.
So grateful.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much. So now I'm coming to you, Yemi. This question you were about saying certain things. So I'm going to ask you that now. So life is full of ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
And at times, things actually don't end up the way we had planned.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been such time in your marriage where things did not happen the way you had planned them? If yes, how were you able to sustain the true love that existed between the both of you?
Okay, so touching back on what I started from, in our case, I think we knew beforehand. However, there have been other instances within the marriage where we planned A and then A didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned through my mentors over time. Okay, maybe I should also mention this. When we're getting married then, because we're both at separate churches, their church had a very wonderful system where you have to go through 8 weeks of training. I know most churches counseling class. I see it as training.
Yeah,
but the beautiful part for me was they will now assign you to a mentor afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned a few things from that when you have a plan A, always have backup plans.
Yeah.
In our case, when we're told that there was a delay and all, the question to me, which I didn't even share with her, was, am I ready for this? Because, again, I live in a church setting. I've seen people who struggled through moments like that. I saw into their core, and it's not the most pleasant of times if you don't have, support system around you. Then I thought to myself, one, we already planned we're not staying in that country. So that removes a lot. First, in terms of pressure. So, and then, few years down the line, we got our baby, right? But then, talking about how are we able to cope, communication, it's easier for the men than women, especially when you're looking for, the fruit of the womb, as it's so called. And I think I just had one job then, support this lady. When we go out with friends, you will know that I'm making her the center amongst everybody. I'll open the door for her, you will know that, okay, this girl is getting all the attention, and we prayed, we did everything, So I think for me, always having that backup plan, whatever it is at some point, before even coming to Canada, we tried Australia. We wanted to go to Australia, we didn't try. We wanted to go to Korea.
Wow.
So, and that's what I'm saying, always have a backup plan. But we knew we're not going to stay back in Mauritius where we met. We knew that for a fact. And we knew we're not staying back in Nigeria, our home country. But we're trying other things. So the communication and, ability to also allow one person lead, for me, is also a big one in marriage. Can two agree together? Yes. Except they agree. To work together. So, so I think for young fellows looking at us, or even other people that are not married yet, you have to put those things on paper before you start finding. I went to my doctor recently here in Canada, and I was saying something about AS, AA, and he doesn't understand. Because they don't have it.
They don't have it here.
So that tells me, that's why some of my friends are in Nigeria that are AS, they say I can't find love. You can marry a white person because they don't even have that.
Most of them.
But I was able to understand, and that's some of the backup plans I'm saying. If it doesn't work, you may not even have all the answers. Look for people who have some of these answers, and let them just give you a sense of wisdom at that point, and maybe things will work.
Thank you very much. Ruth, how was that time for you?
Well, it was... Initially, I wasn't pressured. Because we just went to come here to relocate. And then when we got here, I was really distracted because you're trying to settle down, get a job, cope with the weather, the culture shock, everything. So I would say I started getting,
pressured.
Well, I would say concerned in late 2018 because we got married in 2015. So from 2018, I started getting concerned, but the thing was, I would close from work and I would be racing home to just spend time with him. We enjoyed each other's company. It was just both of us, and we were living in one room and parlor apartment in Pembina. So when I come up from work, I would cook. I enjoy cooking. I would cook. We would load the plates. We would sit down, turn off the lights, and we'll be watching movie. That's it. We had so much fun together. We shared everything. We would fight.
Definitely.
It was, for me, I'm so thinking about it now. I'm actually glad I'm glad our baby came when our baby came.
Because you had honeymoon after honeymoon.
Yes. We had time to understand each other. Yeah. We had time there was no distraction, nobody, no family members. It was just both of us. Yeah. And those till today, I still miss those times. Yeah.
You can't get it again.
I can't get it again. Yeah, but I really miss those times. And then it was always, they would tell me, you're the one that is worried. Me, I'm not worried. At some point, I turned into a fertility expert. There was nothing I did not know. Anybody, in fact, I'll be telling my friends that are waiting that, have you tried X, Y, Z? No, I was not pregnant. I'll be giving them, different schools. So my mind, I'll be like, I know that you'll be saying that you've not applied what you learned, what you learned. So, but that was how I could. But also, I trusted him. I trust that, he's on this journey with me. I trust that we're together. And I trusted his leadership. I told you that I was in a 4-year relationship before I met him. That relationship, I couldn't be myself. I'm a very outgoing person. I love to party. In school, you would do my coursework. I'll go and swim at the beach from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. with some other people. And when I come back, I would have finished my coursework. I'll now be telling him, you missed though. You did X, Y, Z. So I love to enjoy life. And he allows me to be a mess. Yeah. He allows me to do whatever I want to do. The previous relationship I was in, if we're in a gathering like this, I'll be like a robot. I will not be able to talk. I would look at his eyes before I talk. By the time we get out, you'll be like, oh, you said this, you should have said this, you should have acted this. But he allows me to be myself.
To be yourself.
So those are the things that kind of kept me going. And in 2019, we moved to this house. Before you say Jack Robinson, I was pregnant. Wow. So everything happened at the right time. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for that experience you shared with us. I'm sure it's going to help some people out there waiting on the Lord.
Absolutely.
Okay, now I'm coming to you, Bunmi and Tope. Now, to you. Let's talk about the gender of our children, right? Because I know that in the African setting, we always have this problem of a man must have a hair. The hair is the hair, all those things. And ladies also might be like, why do I have to keep having boys? I need to have a girl. So what is your view about that? Talk maybe get ready.
Okay. I'll be truthful. Marriage is lifelong. You need to marry your friend. There are times in the marriage you won't forget that you're in love. But it's the friendship of that person. Easily touched by little things, sacrifices, I mentioned it. In time of need, when we started, she was there. And that's all for me. Then I continue. I'm rest assured, even when you're here, it's easy for me to overlook, because when there's nothing, you were there. So I had no issues with it. I was okay. If I tell you we had some delays, there are most, the first is 14, will be 14 this year, the next was like 7 to 8. You see some gap and all. So definitely it wasn't some were not intentional. Yeah. So I remember the sermon in my church. My parents were from an African church, very staunch Christians and all. It was a female that ministered on our wedding. So that's an aberration first. They were on the edge, but our sermon was deep. Third party should not be involved. There could be delay, but God has said, nobody will be barren on the land and all. The sermon was powerful that I saw them acknowledge. They didn't even see the gender anymore. So that's one of my mentors, BC Vita. She's very eloquent. But surprisingly, someone that preached that sermon was the first person asking us Alpha when it was over 9 months. And I said, but the sermon that was, that moved even seniors, even myself and seniors, and so on. I said, oh, really? But like I told you, I missed what she said. If I have a redo, would have been to have like 3-4 years without kids first. That first year that we had alone was the best that I really enjoyed. Just myself, my wife, I cut out the family, and we were just about 10-15 minutes away. But church, work, home, maybe weekend talk with the kid and all, with the family and all. So it's that communication piece. And I told her, I married you because I loved you. I liked your person. I didn't marry you because of kids. So if they are there, all well and good. If they are not there. So all I had to do was what you did to protect her, make excuses for her, make her happy. And luckily, we relocated and it's changed. Here is the female that has more opportunities. If a male and a female should apply for certain jobs, they pick the female first. They are seen as invisible in Arabia and all. And here, they have more opportunities than the male.
I believe
more opportunities than the male.
I believe both sexes have equal opportunities. All you need to do is to prove yourself.
Not in Canada.
Not in Canada.
Prove yourself.
If I want to get a government job,
there's equity. They say and they would say if you identify as a woman, identify as a visible minority. That doesn't mean that if you are not a visible minority or you are not a woman, you won't get the job.
Do you know what I mean?
They do get opportunities, but you are a man. Make yourself stand out.
I understand what you're saying. But what happens is if they are not all qualified, they are all qualified. Same level, same mark.
Yeah.
They all got.
If everybody is qualified, they will take the woman, and then the man is going to go to another one and get it.
And they may get another one. You may get there, and everybody will be qualified, and they may take another woman.
And then he will go to the next one.
At the end of the day, it's still the same thing we're saying. A woman comes first before a man.
I don't say that.
We're talking about in Canada.
You're talking about how they feel like maybe women are not well represented.
Yes.
So they want more women in government, more women in management.
Oh yes. They will see it that way. See it this way.
I won't.
They would say,
I'm a mother of boys. So I'm very biased. And then when people keep saying girl, like people say train the girl child, I'm training mommy and I'll train my daughter and leave the boy. I'm a staunch believer. I'm training my boys. I want them to stand out in society. I'm not going to tell them, because you are, Nigerians, they'll say, boys, you are the boy, you are the sex, you don't need to cook, you don't need to do so many things. I train my boys. And even though women have, they have this, I always still tell my boys, you have the best opportunities to. They want to pick women, maybe because they are being sidelined and they want them to come. Perfect. They're going to pick men too. Men that. We have men here that they have a job and they are okay. Yeah.
It's just a location.
Don't mind me, I'm just biased.
I know. Which is okay. I know. So it's beautiful now, and I love their presence. I'm seeing that other part of me that I had in there that I didn't know. I grew up in a family that masculinity was everything. My dad till date had not sat me down to teach me about life. Just me watching him grow up, his values. He closes at 7 from work, he's home at 7:30. Saturday, Sunday, he's with the wife, family and all. I don't need someone to tell me that that's strong. So things like that naturally came to me. But coming now, the subtleness, the calmness, thoughtfulness. Thoughtfulness. They're so kind and sacrificial, which, at times is battling and softly, and they're so, demanding of that love and affection. So there's that strong bond in the house. And I thank God for the wife that I have, perfect girls. She takes the lead in there. They come to me when they need certain things and okay, talk to the boss. Have you spoken with the boss?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So, if you were from the eastern part of Nigeria, where, having the male child is, I would say, I will use the word must.
That's the child. Yeah.
That's another child.
So how do you navigate through it?
Thank you so much. And that's why I said something from the beginning. I wasn't going to marry a Nigerian. If I traveled when I wanted to travel after school.
If she did not say yes.
Even before then, wow. I said I was going to marry a Nigerian or an orphan. So that was the other. And those were part of the reason. If the dad and mom are on my side, aunties, friends, they are just the noise from the market.
Yeah.
It's just the parents you are accountable to. And I won't say luckily or unluckily. Even the sisters, 2 siblings, they are 3 girls, and and they were 5 girls. So I saw that connect, that bond. Yeah. So it's already transferred even into them, even to this next generation, even in terms of the way they relate now, relationship wise.
Okay, maybe I can just quickly say that another thing that I feel is that probably is a culture, the way our tradition back from where we all came from. I think men have actually forgotten that they are actually the donors.
Yes.
They're actually the donors.
Yes.
And if a man doesn't donate the
Y
chromosome, there is no way a woman will carry a male child. But unfortunately,
ancestors,
the culture has put all the blame on the woman. Like the woman is the one. No. And I think we just need to quickly chip that in, that it is the men that actually need to donate.
But even the men have no control over it. So
exactly.
But it should be
why? Okay, yeah.
So, because we only have one right now, I know Madam has 2 boys.
Yeah.
He has 4 girls.
4 girls, yeah.
And it's come to a point of discussion between us two. Like, I love the girl child. Like, I'm so, she knows. I don't mind having
5.
I don't mind having 5
too, yeah.
I'm good.
My wife,
but she wants anything but at least one.
Okay.
One male child.
Okay.
So I said, okay, if we get to the point where we now have maybe 2 girls and we're looking to have a boy. We'll use science to do it. Because science now can do that. I was in church once when
they don't do it in Canada.
Anywhere they do it.
You go anywhere they do it.
Wherever they do it.
I told you when I was trying.
You check everything.
Fertility test, but
I'm also trying.
So the person mentioned in passing, the person was talking about one currency that I've never heard about, they use, and then said, have you noticed that in the British Kingdom, you always have more of this gender than this gender, and it's on purpose because X, Y, Z. So I did little research on it and found out science can actually also do that. But it's something that is not common in our environment where you find the person having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because they're looking for the next gender. Meanwhile, after 2 you can just apply science and do, so I think that's another option that people should.
And that's to do with our religion and culture. You're trying to play God. You have to play God.
People try to say maybe you are not woman enough or not man enough if you do it, this way or that.
That's
not ordinary CS.
It's a business.
Yes, How
did you have your baby?
Yes,
and you feel like you are
did you breastfeed? You didn't breastfeed?
No, you are not a woman.
Formula.
There's something wrong with you.
Talk to my last question, and I'm going to take that round before we end this session today. Coming from an African culture where love is scarcely expressed in the public to the Canadian culture of freedom of expression, how do you spice up the love?
I spice up my love. I spice up my love. We do a lot of things together. We exercise together, we play games together, watch movies together, We do
so many things.
So many couples night together. Even the children know they cannot disturb mommy and daddy at a particular time. At a particular time. So yeah, I've always been a very clingy and expressive person. I can grab my husband, hug him. He's the one that will be like trying to like I'm clingy. I don't think so many people would know. Sometimes in the house we're just sitting, I just want to sit on his lap, so just hold him. I just like the comfort of it. So I'm very, very, very comfortable. Yeah, I'm expressive and I'm comfortable with expressing myself. Giving my husband a kiss. My children will like, ew, anytime when I want to, especially of course I can't be going on the road and doing that.
Why not?
But, okay. I don't want to do a little too much, maybe.
Too much.
Because I still have this African thing in me.
Conservative,
I'm still a bit conservative. Yeah. But in the comfort of my house,
I do anything.
And my children know that they know that we are in love. They know we love each other. They know we express our love anyhow. They are not. They are used to seeing daddy and mommy hug and kiss. I was talking to a friend and she was like, my children, I don't kiss in front of them. I was like, I don't think that would. From my own, I feel it's just because even my dad, if he sees me, he's going to give me a peck. I came from a family that is expressive. We express our love. So I'm used to expressing, I love you. I'm going to leave my children. I will just come and
public display of affection. Just like her, when I'm in comfort of my house, I can do that. Especially when we're alone upstairs. We sleep as if when we are sleeping, you'll be wondering, you won't know if it's one person or two people because we are too glued. Our legs are intertwined. If he leaves the bed, I cannot sleep again. And if I leave, you'll be like, you only don't sing. Because sometimes I'm a bit careful. I don't want people to be like, it's your one is too much. You guys are getting like, are you trying to make us uncomfortable? So I always try to be aware and be sensitive to my surrounding before I do that. Mm-hmm. So most times, PDA is always in our bedrooms when we're alone or when we're alone in the house. But now we're always careful. But when we're in bed, there are no.
She made use of it. Me, I love it. I don't care if you want to say anything. I don't care. Because I think sometimes also people want it, they like it, especially people that are used to it. But they also don't just want you to put it in their faces. But guess what? If I was in this color and someone else, my friend from another region, is doing the same thing, they won't care. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why I don't care.
But when does it get tacky? You see some PD and you are like, no, now.
At the bus stop when they're just
because sometimes it gets like
So you don't want to cross. There's always a thin line between.
Get to that point where
there are so many ways to do PDA without kissing the.
I was about going that way.
Holding hands, maybe walking and holding hands. Yeah, we do that. Yeah, holding hands.
And go
for a walk.
Yeah,
walk around
doing that.
Yeah.
So
I didn't see it growing up. I didn't see them quarrel at all. And I didn't see them show affection at all. But they wear the same clothes. Every blessed day.
When you see the same clothes?
Uncle.
Oh.
Sing to anywhere. And you see them together. It's still one of the issues I'm struggling with now. I'm trying to get them here, but both of them have to come together. And Canada is rejected twice that they don't have enough time to go back. Because if I should bring one, I'm sure you won't make the next one there. Because they've been like that forever. My mom's from a royal family. They initially approved of my dad. They accepted all the gifts. My mom gave in, and later they said no. And she said, no, you've already accepted all the gifts. Return the gifts if you want me to. And they didn't accept. And they eloped to Lagos.
Wow.
And they started their life. Wow. So it wasn't until after the four of us, before they now became the darling of the family that is even more like a son to the current king now. And that was when they just did their marriage officially.
Wow.
So the sacrifice, the closeness, I saw that. I didn't see the affection. Then I married someone too that likes it, but our own is a quality time. If you go out, love language, you need to know. If you go out together, the dating years, everybody knew. In church, even before us, because we pick colors too. naturally at times we might not even know. She might be on blue and she likes coffee brown. So there's no way I love blue. Those two has to be in our clothing and green. Even we're not from the same house. But people are already waiting to see us in church because they know. So we didn't tell people, but they knew. I would have loved that to continue. That's the part of it. Then I opened the door for her. Like she said, we get to a function. She has to be the best in that function. She has to look the best, and everybody must know. No, I leave what I'm doing. So okay, no. Get things to her desk in function that is not even my party, and make her very comfortable and make it obvious that she's the center of the attack. You know. So you don't need to, or but home. Oh, the kids need to know. Go and talk to my darling wife. Are you my darling wife? No. She's my darling wife. Talk to her and let them know the place that I can't do anything without her. That I love her and they know that that's the time. At home, yeah? In the room, living room, they know at times. Just go around there. She loves that. The plays we were having that first year. Either behind, run away, kind of thing. But with the kids at home, you can't do that anymore.
That's
and outside,
subtle PDAs now.
Yeah, subtle. So those
when there's nobody there, when you think that they can't see, when you think they can't see,
But even with the kids, my kids are like I have a 11 and 9. Even with them being there, I want them to know that love is good.
Yeah.
And
but you can't,
so I can do things like
your bum now.
No.
So
there's a limit.
There's a limit.
There's a limit. Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure having you guys with me today.
Awesome.
And on behalf of STO Global Concept, we say thank you.
Viewers, true love sure exists. And all it requires is finding someone who wants the same things from life as you. Someone who sees you for who you really are and decides to build a future with you. Never settle for less or for someone who does not see the good in you. Always remember, true love is supportive, it's understanding, and it's patient. Above all, however, it is fulfilling and equitable. Till we come your way again next month, let us continue to inspire and transform the world. With love, I remain your host, Bunmi Aregbesola.